Jiven here, welcome to another video. Today is going to be a really good video to help you out with fighting. I'm going to be going over a bunch of different fighting strategies that I use in different clips. You may know some of it, but you might learn some new stuff that works really well in Arena. Before we start this video, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's using code JIVENTV, and for those of you that aren't, be sure you at least have somebody's code in. And if you don't, use code JIVENTV. Yeah. Alright, so let's hop into this. As you saw in the first clip, I piece controlled two different people. The first guy, I just threw cones over top of him from really far away. I took a little peek shot and I was able to claim the other walls. It's a little safer to make a window edit instead of doing the triangle like I did, but it worked out in this situation. Second dude, I simply got a ramp over top of him and claimed that back wall before he could run out it. Box like fish. So this second clip, I piece controlled and pre-boxed this opponent so many times. First thing to note is that as soon as I finished off the first dude, I instantly broke out of the box and started claiming some stuff around me. That way, in case somebody else pushed up, I would be prepared for it. And somebody else did push up. And that's when I started piece controlling like crazy. So as you could see, I was trying to predict where my opponent was going that whole fight. I was trying to stay one step ahead of them. The main way you do this is by trying to track their audio, but you can also look for the direction they're running and where their builds are being placed to try to predict where they're going to go next. So I'm popping heals here and I'm trying to listen where the opponent is. So as you could see, I went to pre-box him there, but I saw him psychoing forward, so I backed up and let him psycho and I got a free shot. And then I saw him flip that ramp, so I went to pre-box him out the other side. I messed up in the fight because I could have had him full boxed here, but I didn't place the back walls or the top. So that's something to note in the future. I should have placed that stuff. Either way, still outplayed. Haha. So next strategy is team-based, and it's the thing called duo piece control, which I've talked about before. Basically, you want to try to get your opponent full boxed, and if you do get them full boxed, call your teammate over and shoot them together. Works like a charm every single time. And here it is in trios, same idea. Get them full box, shoot them together. So this next fight is very important that you pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm going to slow it down big time here. What I did here is something I do all the time while W keying in Arena. If I see someone boxed up, look at how I push. First, I block off this wall. That way they can't edit out the side and take a right hand peek shot on me from that angle. I'm pushing their wall from the left, which gives me a right hand peek on their wall. I then place a wall in front of me here and a cone on the other side. That way, if they edit that front wall, I can reset the wall right in front of me to block their shot if they do make an edit. So basically, they have no way to actually hit me. Their only option is to run out the back or edit through the front like they do here. So this next fight is another really good way to pressure a wall. This is good if you need to pressure a wall from head on. First thing to note is that when he resets the cone and the wall, they're both one-shot. Brick and metal, you can one-shot them when they are reset because the health is much lower. Knowing this allows you to pressure really fast. Next thing to notice, when I get this ramp and edit it, I have a right hand peek on his wall. If he edits on me, I can dip under the ramp or reset the ramp as cover. Editing a ramp like that is super protective for when you're pressuring a wall head on. After that, I just had to hit my shots and I got the dub. Next up, we have one of my favorite build moves. It's a front side high wall. You probably know high walls from side jumping when you place a wall really high up while you're side jumping. You can do it also when you're just building. As you can see here, when I edit out this side, I place walls straight up. It allows me to block his shot. I edit a window in the wall, place a cone over top of him, and then I predict his movement and full box him. So when I'm doing retakes, if I think they're holding an angle above me, I try to throw high walls up before they can take their shot, and then I'm able to piece control them. If I get that wall, I can just edit through and place a cone over top like I did here. Super good move. Here's another example where I swing a high wall up. I don't really utilize it here to the full amount, but as you can see, I still got the wall in front of him, and I could have piece controlled through that wall. So I'm just building, I know that he's above me, so I swing this wall into position, as you can see right there. And then I own that wall in front of him, and I could have piece controlled through it, but I didn't in this situation. And now here's one more example where I do pretty much the same thing. This time I edit a cone and then place the wall up there, but once I see I get that wall in front of him, I edit and place a cone through, and then I just have to predict his movement out this side and get him full boxed. Placing walls above you is the best way to piece control. Here's it in slow motion. And so here's the high wall that I was talking about before with the side jump. Whenever I'm in a build fight and the opponent's above me, I always try to place these high walls. I practice this all the time in my free builds just because it's one of the most useful moves in the game. So get in the habit of placing high walls just like that, and then you just build up to it, and if you see an opportunity to piece control through it, then go ahead and do it just like I did there. Here's another similar situation. I placed a wall way high above me here. I saw him running up this ramp, so I edit through and place a cone over top, and doing that move gave me all the control in the fight. Once I got that cone over top of him, I side jump here, and then I get him full boxed. As you can see, I try to get cones over top of any ramps that I see building, because if a ramp's being built, then the opponent might be on that ramp, and if you get the cone over top, you can get walls around, get them full boxed, you know? So I look for things that are freshly built, and that's one of the biggest ways that I'm able to track my opponents. The main way is audio, but also, looking for fresh builds and trying to see the opponent. Tracking the opponent is one of the most important things. Here's the high wall one more time in slow-mo. As you can see, he had that side available to run out of, so I edited through and blocked him off before he could get out that wall. So just like I did in that previous fight, where I blocked the opponent's path, I do that here. This is a much more simple version of it, but I figured I'd throw it in here so that you guys can get the concept down. So first off, I get that wall in front of him, and then I edit through, and when I see his body turn to the right, that's when I block off that wall before he can get out. You gotta try to track the movement of the player. I saw him turning, so I block off that side. Here's another good example of me tracking my opponent. When it comes to pre-boxing, one of the most important things is tracking your opponent and predicting their movement. So I see him drop down here, and I see his movement is going to the right, so I claim that front wall before he can get it. I edit through and place the cone, and then I try to block off that wall before he can get through. I ended up editing it because I thought he did get through, but he didn't. This next fight, I was kind of just vibing, honestly. I ran a little edit course here, but one of the most important things when you're in a build fight, you want to move as fast as possible, and then once you get them full box, that's when you want to slow down and focus on your aim. I've talked about this in other videos. You want to move really fast when you're trying to piece control your opponent, and then once you get them piece controlled, slow down and hit your shots. My aim here wasn't the best, but the builds looked really clean. One build technique to note here is when I try to edit this ramp, I hold it for a little bit to try to see where my opponent is going through the ramp. Once I know where they're going, I know exactly what to do next, and I'm able to get them full boxed. So this is just a simple little tip. When you're in a build fight and they're like cranking 90s to the moon, just slow down and try to look around to see what they're connected to. And if they're not connected to much, break them out real quick. Something you can do is try to make a full box for them to land in once they actually fall. But in this situation, I was just able to hit the charge shot on him. So this fight starts just like I talked about earlier with me pushing from the left side. It's so important. I blocked off that wall so that they couldn't take a right hand peek shot on me, and then I just pressure from the left. I see this ramp going upwards, so I try to cone it off. They're able to side jump around it, and then I just got in. But let's talk about why the way I got in was really good. As you could see, I only had 2 builds left when I psychoed into his box, so I needed to end it right there, otherwise I was dead. So as you can see, I get the wall one shot with my pickaxe, and then I flip the cone upwards right as I'm going to psycho in. Flip the cone up last second because then they don't expect it as much. In this fight, I just had really good movement, and I'll explain why. I mean, this shot here was just IQ, let's be real. But as you can see right here, when I'm under the ramp and he has that wall, I need to get out of there because he could have edited through and full boxed me. So I quickly jump out the side. You want to get out of a situation like that before you get full boxed. Another thing you can do is if you think you're about to get full boxed, claim a build around you so that you have that build claimed and you can edit out it if they do full box you, because you need to have an escape. So there's a couple things to note from this fight. First thing to note is that I'm building out of brick and he's building out of wood. So I'm able to easily keep track of which builds are mine. And on top of that, once I finish the fight, I get a refresh on my brick because he didn't use any brick, he only used wood. And then when I double edit through here, I double edit the right side. That way I have a right hand peek on my opponent. If I edited through the left side, I would have had a left hand peek. Keep that in mind. When I'm watching back my gameplay, I try to figure out how I can optimize my peeks. It's one of the most important parts of the game. In this fight, however, I didn't really need a peek, I just got in. As you can see, I'm predicting his movement. I'm seeing which way he's headed. Once I see where he's going, I get the cone and floor over top of him by looking straight up over the builds. Pay attention to my crosshair placement in that fight when I was placing the builds over top. It's a good thing to note that you can place cones and floors from that angle. Next fight, got a little sniper clip for you. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this already, but if you see somebody opened up at you, they're about to spray at you, you can just aim down your sights at them, and then as soon as the wall breaks, time the shot and then instantly build another wall. I timed it perfectly in this situation. None of his bullets got through, and then I hit the headshot snipe. And now the last clip here. I utilize one of the tricks we talked about earlier where I edit the ramp to protect myself while pushing his wall. And then I have some god movement here. After I hit the first shot, look at how I run to behind my right hand peak. I sprint to behind the wall before I set up the next right hand peak because I knew he was going to try to pre-fire me. The first shot I didn't need to be as far behind it because he wasn't expecting the edit at all because of how fast I moved, but the second one I needed to get in cover. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys out. Put a lot of time and effort into this one, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Also, use code JivenTV in the item shop if you don't already. It means the world to me. It's the absolute best way to support me. Appreciate it, guys. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.